Brand nerds, brand nerds, brand nerds. Oh, it's so good to be back. Our first show after summer hiatus. And I'm just like bursting with energy, LT, to start this new season.
Yeah, we missed the show terribly, brand nerds. We DC and I, when we were first coming on, we're like, oh, we're back.
Yes.
We really enjoy doing this so much. So we thank you for your listenership and viewership, and we can't wait to get to this one, right, D?
That's right. That's right, LT. We miss you, brand nerds. We don't miss just doing the show.
Yeah.
We miss you, brand nerds, very much. So, brand nerds, you know, the name of the show is Brands, Beats, and Bytes. That's the podcast. And it's connected to the name of our practice, which is Brand Positioning Doctors. Note the middle word there, brand nerds. We have a belief in our world, and our belief is this: all the great brands have one thing in common, at least one thing in common, and we think it's the most important thing, and that is they have a sharply defined positioning. You know exactly what the great brands stand for, even if you don't use them or like them. You still know what they stand for. Our second belief is that if there's a problem that's systemic in the brand and business, 99% of the time you can drop some breadcrumbs from that problem and take it right back to positioning. A murky positioning, a positioning that people don't understand or know. It's a positioning problem, typically. And on our first show back after hiatus, LT, we happen to have another positioning expert in the building. So much so that, like us, the word positioning is also in the name of what she does. LT, can you tell the peoples who we have the auspicious opportunity to begin our season with on Brands, Beats, and Bytes?
What a great preface, D. That's a great kickoff here. And neither one of us, dare I say, have a positioning problem because it's right in the name. So, DC, we have Krista Patterson in the house today. Welcome, Krista.
Thank you so much. I think I'm a positioning geek, maybe. Brand nerd.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, I like that.
Both.
That's good.
You're onto something there, Krista. You're onto something. Okay, brand nerds, as DC said, we are so excited to be back from summer hiatus, and we are kicking things off with a fellow brand positioning specialist, Krista Patterson, currently co-founder and CEO of Positioning Collective.
What's the name of the company again? What's the name? One more time. I didn't get it. I missed it. Can you please repeat?
Positioning Collective.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
So, okay, DC, Krista, brand nerds, you know as we do, we have to walk you through Krista's wonderful path. All right, so she grows up in the Bay Area, working numerous jobs as a kid, including as a florist in San Jose and a DJ at a roller rink. I love that one.
Ooh.
Right? I knew you'd like that one, D. She goes on to Chico State, where she earns her undergrad degree in advertising and PR. While at Chico, Krista lands a summer internship with the PR firm Neil May and Partners, and clearly makes a great impression since they offer her a job after graduation. After that job, she eventually moves on to Ketchum PR, when that was big PR firm in the day, as an account manager for tech. All right. So having learned the PR comms business well on the agency side, Krista gets the opportunity to join Ungerman Bass as a PR manager. UB was an early computer networking pioneer, the first major local area network company independent of any computer maker. Brand nerds, we talk about this often. Your network is foundational to your career. And when you leave for a new opportunity, it's most practical and advantageous to leave on good terms. Krista's next move represents that in a big way. Ron Ricci, is that the way you pronounce Ron's name, Krista?
Yeah, Ricci.
Ron Ricci, the man who hired her for her first job at Neil May, brings her on at 3Com, then a very large tech hardware company, as PR manager for their largest business product line. At 3Com, Krista then moves into her first pure marketing position, becoming solutions marketing manager, and later moves into field marketing manager covering the Eastern US and Canada. All right, it's now 2006, and Krista gets a great opportunity to join Cisco as senior brand marketing manager, where she spends the next 10 years in increasingly prominent roles. Just to be clear, brand nerds, this is the tech company with a C, not the food services company with an S. Cisco today is an important global tech company, but in '06, it was really flying high. While at Cisco, Krista also earns her master's degree in communications from the University of Southern California, all while climbing the ladder to eventually becoming director of global brand strategy, where she and her team successfully forged synergy and alignment between global marketing, field marketing, and that's the Americas, EMEA, and Asia, and corporate communications, which is PR and investor relations. And in a big tech company, brand nerds, that is really difficult to do because a lot of these people have all of their own fiefdoms. And so to bring all that together is a big job. Krista then moves on to enterprise cloud company ServiceNow as senior director of brand communications, where she builds an integrated marketing communications team, developing and delivering impactful marketing, elevating the ServiceNow brand. Krista then spends some time at Cal and San Jose State teaching marketing PR classes before returning to the corporate world, joining VMware as head of strategic brand partnerships and management in their brand experiences division. In this role, Krista and her team develop and deliver increased brand awareness and pipeline through strategic partnerships highlighted by McLaren and the San Francisco 49ers. With all this great experience, Krista sees a real opportunity to help companies gain real clarity around their brands and co-founds, as we mentioned earlier, Positioning Collective, where she serves as CEO. Positioning Collective partners with founders and leadership teams to navigate complex challenges, resulting in unprecedented clarity. They work hands-on with leadership teams to translate strategic intent into aligned decisions, behaviors, and execution, ensuring strategy doesn't just exist on paper, but shows up in how their companies operate and grow. Krista lives in Los Gatos, California with her husband, Mike, yellow lab, Daisy, and shout out to her children, Jacob, daughter-in-law, Laura, Cole, and Elise. Welcome to Brands, Beats, and Bytes, Krista Patterson.
Wow, that's long. Did I do all that, actually?
Indeed, you did. Indeed, you did. And we have AI to prove it. For those who trust AI. For those who trust AI.
You can't hide anymore. It's true.
No, you cannot. It's now not that you or Larry or I do this, or Jade, our super producer. It's hard to lie these days. It's hard to lie. Okay, hard to lie. But I digress. Larry, once again, first show, blazing hot with the intro. Well done, my brother.
It's all Krista.
It is Krista.
What a great summary. Thank you.
Great
summary.
Thank you
so much.
Great summary.
You're welcome. You did it.
Krista, I'm a car guy. And so as Larry was sharing the script and I saw the word McLaren, my ears perked up. Is that the car brand McLaren or is it a different McLaren?
It is. At VMware, we were a F1 sponsor.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I know.
Ooh. I should have said that. I shouldn't have taken it. I'm glad you pointed that out.
That's all right.
A lot of people don't. The F1 folks, and I love F1, know what McLaren is. So I'm glad you highlighted that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a huge sports fan.
Okay.
And have been rejecting F1 for my entire marriage and not wanting to watch it. And that is ridiculous. And what are you doing? And then I land this job with a dear friend that I'm managing this sponsorship, and I'm headed to Woking, UK to see their headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole family has been watching Drive to Survive, I think is what
right.
It's called.
Okay, yeah.
And are losing their minds that I now have this role.
And it's not fair that you're going and they're not.
And they're not going. Ooh.
Well, one of them got to go.
Oh.
Yeah, she will lord it over her brothers forever. Yeah, it's true. But I learned to love F1. I really made some amazing friends. It was such a great experience to manage and then to work with the Niners as well, because they're my team. So
My team too. Go Niners.
Yeah. I noticed you're sporting the college hat today, so that's
I
good.
am.
But yeah, we share a professional MLB fandom. We're both Giants fans.
Noise.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I saw that McLaren. I was like, oh. All right, Krista, before we get into the heart of the podcast, we do what's called a get comfy question. And it's just to start things off.
The warm up.
And Krista, in every one of the podcasts that Larry and I are grateful to have the opportunity to talk with people like you. There's something that our guests will say somewhere along the line that will cause Larry and I to just pause and go, wow. Okay. And it expands our mind. Sometimes it blows our mind, and it makes us smarter because of how smart you all are. One of those guests he's called Oren Katzif. Oren Katzif.
Okay.
And we were talking with him, Krista, during one of our records, and he talked about what great movies, books, stories, TV shows, brand campaigns, what they have in common. And you heard me at the top of the show talk about a great brand positioning. He comes from a different world. He had a different saying. He said, they tell you the stuff you don't know about the stuff you know. The stuff you don't know about the stuff you know. He said that, Krista, and Larry and I were like, hey, wait. What did you just say?
Yeah, and he was just talking. He kept just going talking. On. Yeah. We had to stop him.
Yeah, what did you just say? So I'm then, Krista, going back to think about movies that have been great. And I'm like, yeah, I thought I knew about that character. But no, they brought something to me that I did not know. Or a brand campaign. I thought I knew what was going on with this brand campaign. And then I study it more and I go, oh, I didn't know that happened behind the scenes. So my question to you is, in the profession of PR, communications, what's the stuff that people don't know about what makes that craft so vital that they think they know?
Yeah.
What don't they know? What don't we know?
It's an interesting, the only reason I have a degree in public relations, and I hate to admit this, is that my mother said, you like people. That's what you should do.
Okay.
Well, it has nothing to do with people, first of all. I mean, it does as an audience, but 90% of your time is spent crafting messages and writing.
Right.
Or at least it was then, right? So I think that is for me, the most memorable thing about, you didn't know anything about public relations, but it worked out really great for me. So that's okay. It's all right.
Oh, okay. I would have thought you would have said, after you like people, you should be a greeter at Disney. I mean,
exactly. And I like to say that it really only qualifies you to be a Cocker Spaniel. Like, there's really, like people, like there's really nothing magical there. I think, well, for me, I have said that gave me the best training to move on to the other things that I did. Because what PR teaches you is to understand your audience really clearly and to really craft a tight message, because you actually don't have control over the delivery of it.
So true.
So you have to convince somebody else to communicate a message using my words, not theirs, or something like it. And that is a whole crazy cycle that people don't really understand. That your message better be super clear to communicate it and to convince somebody else to communicate it the way you want.
Ooh, that's good, Larry. Larry, any response to Krista's answer to the question, the stuff you don't know about?
Keep going. I know you got something.
I will do this. And Krista, I love that you started with understand your audience. So often in our profession, branding, marketing, broadly defined, we will start with the P&L. We will start with what's the latest product release. We will
Mhm.
start with what does the senior executive in the room want to do. We will start with those things. And the audience will be way down, starting with the audience. The other thing I liked that what you said, Larry, what you said, Chris, is that tight message.
Yeah,
She did not say loquacious.
that's right.
Okay. She said tight. And you'll know this, Krista. There's a famous quote attributed to Mark Twain, but I'm not going to get it right, where he writes a friend a letter and he apologizes for the length of the letter. He said if he had more time to think about it, it would be shorter.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it takes time to get a tight message. So I'm picking up what Krista's laying down, Larry.
Big time. And, DC, I see the throughput between that foundational experience that Krista had, because as she's talking, what's the best brand positioning, right? You got to know your audience. And
Yeah.
we are like hell bent on that, Krista, to the point, we DC and I, we spend sometimes hours on where words go and how
Yeah.
we have something called a brand lover and explaining that in the most in the best way. And then that goes to the tight
Yeah.
clarity that we, because we spend so much time, we want it to be tight and crystal clear, and of course something that is becomes obvious to people, because that becomes really important. And so that really is foundational to somebody who is a positioning expert like you are right now. So I love the throughput of that.
It is, I think, too, to add to that, the audience, we get trained that it's demographics,
Yeah.
right? That we really get trained there. And
We do.
I would argue that the most important part is the mindset.
Yes.
And we don't often, or we didn't, I mean, we do in our business, but when we were doing this corporate, nobody talked about the mindset. Like,
Yes.
And it's more than just early adopter, late adopter, that thing. It's more than that. It is,
Much.
If you are selling or want to open
Yeah.
a business of holistic healing,
Mm-hmm.
you better make sure that the people you're targeting have the sense of growth. They
Yeah.
understand and they desire it, that they have a sense of longevity and
Here.
they understand it and desire it. So I think mindset for us is the missing piece as well, that most people think demographics defines your audience. I think
Yeah.
mindset really lives there.
Oh,
Love this,
Larry.
D.
Krista, this is very much a professional podcast. I just want to state that before I make this next comment here. When you say we're trained on demographics, and that is true, I think, of nearly all of us in this profession, trained in demographics, but it's really about mindset. It's like you're whispering sweet nothings to the ears of Larry and I. Okay? It's like you are really hitting the spot with us. Okay, really hitting the spot with us. All right, Larry. Anything more before we go to 5 questions?
What a great start.
What a great start, indeed. Krista, Larry, and I will go back, ask you 5 questions. He and I will exchange going to 5. I begin. And I want to take you back to your first brand experience, the first branding experience for you, Krista, where when you engaged with the brand or experience, you were just enthralled. We call this an Ardsley word because Larry grew up in Ardsley, so they use big words there in their school system. In my school system, not as much of the big words, but you were ebullient, okay, ebullient. This really excited you. You lost track of time when you were thinking about this brand. Smiles everywhere, a bit like a first love. What was this brand or brand experience for you, Krista?
Not separate from work brands that I've worked with. So
Yep. Yep.
Certainly, and I don't know that I knew I was enthralled with it, but when I look back on the cars I owned initially, I will say that I believe and still really feel this way, and I'll explain it in 3 parts. VW.
Ooh.
And it has nothing to do with advertising. It really, I think I could afford to buy a VW in
That was
high
my first
school.
car too, by the way.
Yeah.
A Rabbit. I bought a Rabbit. I
Yes.
wanted a Beetle, but my dad wouldn't let me have it. So I had to have a Rabbit because it was more reliable. Okay, fine. And I was going to drive it to Chico, which is 4 hours away. So I bought the Rabbit. And then when I got my first job out of college, I bought a Jetta because the Rabbit was so good. And so those two, coupled with one of my dream cars, is a 15 window VW bus.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Specific VW bus.
Have you seen the new ones? They're really cool looking.
They're very cute.
Yeah.
But a VW bus that is a 15 window is a thing. Like,
right.
And I love kind of open air. I have a 2002 Jeep Wrangler in my driveway. So I love driving, that kind of open air, kind of raw.
By the way, sorry to interrupt you, Krista, but we're scary because DC knows when I was at Coke, that's the car I had. So you and I.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Yeah.
Black soft top.
Yes. Okay. Love. Right. I drove 3 kids around in a Jeep. So yes, all of that. And I really feel like it was an accessible car. And that I really liked about it, that no matter which part of my life, and then I ended up buying Audis, which they bought VW, right?
They did, yeah.
It's an interesting kind of brand love that I wasn't even sure I had.
Love that.
I have it, right? And nothing to do with marketing, really. It was just my experience. And we say this all the time. Your brand is not just the marketing. It's not just the message. It is every touch point.
Yes.
And so my experience with VW and how reliable it was and how accessible it was and how I could move up as my career moved and my income moved really made it stick for me.
Oh, this is a good one, Dee.
Nice.
I have a question for Krista. So it sounds like, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you really enjoy to drive?
I do. I enjoy driving. It is true. I don't know that I'm the best driver, but I enjoy.
I didn't ask that.
Yeah. Okay, good. I do. I like driving. I think my husband is a car guy for sure. And that kind of has made me in turn become a car person. And we want different things. And I want what I want in the car. And so we sometimes doesn't match. That's okay. But I enjoy it. I love a good road trip. Love a road trip.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is because if you remember, one of the many campaigns VW did have, which talked to me, was Drivers Wanted.
Yes.
Remember that campaign?
I do.
And so there's a spirit that goes with that, right? Yeah. Drivers Wanted. And it's so funny. My first car, and I hate to put myself in it, but I think it's really interesting. First car, Rabbit GTI. Then I had a Wrangler, and then I ended up with a Jetta, and then a Passat. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But where you and I diverge, I went BMW, you went Audi, but it's the same sort of as you would put it. It's not a demographic; it's the psychographic of. Those are all cars that are really fun to drive, those brands.
Yeah.
And they're made for that.
Yes.
Versus a Lincoln, no disrespect to Lincoln, man, that's driving your living room down the road, right? Yes. But I think this is really interesting. And again, car brands, we always talk about car brands are great because they do say a lot about you. They really do.
They do.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree. So I think that is the first brand that I loved, even though I really wasn't sure that I did at the time. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I just stuck with it. And there's a reason, I guess.
Love it. D, anything else?
I just have one comment. Am I correct in recalling that the Your dog's name is Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Daisy's, for rand nerds who are not able to see this, Daisy's behind the door where Krista is. And when Krista said that she loves driving open air and has a Wrangler, and then she went on to say, "And I don't drive very well," I heard Daisy behind the wall go, "Huh?" Okay, okay. like Daisy might have been flying up out of the back of that Wrangler. Okay. All right, here we go. Next question, Larry.
So, Krista, who is Hatters having the most influence on your career?
Twofold. And it's not, I had really, you think about this a lot, like, okay,
Sure.
who's my mentor, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And I do a lot of work with early in career. And so they're also looking for mentors. And I think that's interesting. It was actually more a group of people that have remained friends. And
Oh, wow.
we were at Cisco together in the early years. Dana Masuda, Barry Cowan, Alex Crawford, who's now my business partner, Angela Stark, who we worked very closely together and is an amazing brand and marketing brain. That group of people, we have kept in touch and have really helped guide each other and help each other as we have moved through our careers. None of us work together anymore, but we talk often individually, sometimes in groups. Hannah Cho was a part of that. And I feel like that time in my career influenced everything going forward.
Did you say Hannah Cho? I worked with her at Edelman. Small world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I visited her in the office when Kelly Schwager was also there, who is
Sure.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the second is, I just had coffee with her this morning, actually. Patty Curtis is someone that I didn't meet until ServiceNow. And we became great personal friends through COVID. She lives in the town I live in. We started walking 3 days a week because, in COVID in California, you were only allowed to do things outside. And so we got to know each other really well. She is a great marketer in her own right. Absolutely. Events, brand, comms, all of it. She's fantastic. She's worked with us at Positioning Collective a bit as a consultant. She's had a great career. She is the one that says to me at 6 a.m. on a walk, "Yeah, but you shouldn't do that because your superpower is this." And why would you want to do that with your business when you could really do this? And I am so grateful for that at the age I am, which we don't have to talk about, but that she is guiding me in a really great mentor friendship, then slaps me upside the head a couple times for sure about what are you thinking, and challenging me. And I appreciate that so much. And I'm so grateful for that.
You're fortunate.
Love that.
Yeah, you're fortunate to have people like that in your life.
I am, absolutely. I'm really fortunate.
Any follow-up?
I don't have any, no.
I just have a quick one. So DC and I were also fortunate. We have a similar situation with when we grew up at Coca-Cola, like the group of people that you described at Cisco. And we knew it at the time. And again, we did ourselves here, Krista, this is before you. This is in the 90s. And Coca-Cola was the #1 brand in the world. And if you were a marketer and you could work at Coca-Cola, you went there. And so we knew around us, our colleagues were incredible. And we still, DC and I still keep up with our Michael Moore, who's a great friend of ours, who's been on this podcast, and many others who we keep up with. And, I love the fact that you brought about people who are your colleagues, because too often that gets overlooked. And when you have people like Patty who shoot it to you straight, who ain't going to BS you, man, that's worth its weight in platinum. I'll say more than gold,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not to say that all those relationships have been smooth. They have not.
Yeah.
But we repair. and we come back together. And I
Yeah.
think that we all have an amazing, Patty knows some of these folks as well. She also spent some time at Cisco, but we have an amazing respect for each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that time was such a time of growth. The company was Cisco was skyrocketing. It was,
That's why I said it in the intro,
yeah, it was
right?
crazy
And
time.
shout out to our mutual friend, Lisa Varney, because that's how I know. Lisa's a friend of
Yes.
ours, and we're hanging out with Lisa a lot then. She was there at that time. And so
Yeah.
we just really knew what was going on at Cisco. So sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to shout out Lisa.
No, I think absolutely. And we were all kind of moving quickly, right? Like it wasn't, our careers were moving just as fast as the company was going because, okay, we needed somebody to do chief of staff work over here in
Right.
comms. And okay, Krista, you might be good at that. Go do that. You know, it was a crazy time from a growth and movement perspective. And I think to have that group of people to kind of work together, bounce ideas off, we've all worked together in different permutations throughout the years. I think I worked last with Hannah in like 2020. I've done some work with Dana. Like, so it's really, I think that time influenced going forward. For sure.
Very cool.
Cool.
Do you want to hit the next question?
I do. Brand nerds, before I go over the next question, we'll take you behind the scenes here. As we were talking with Krista before we got into the podcast content, and our super producer Jade said our content is editable. So if you say something and you want it edited out, we can edit it later. And Jade says, this is not a got you kind of a podcast, and it isn't. We're here to make you look good. Krista says, can I say the F word? And I said, you absolutely can say the F word, which leads me to question number 3. What's your biggest F up in your career? The biggest F up, Krista, the big juicy one out there. And most importantly, what'd you learn from it?
Can I have 2?
You can have 2, yes.
They both kind of shaped my career and my own personal growth. But I'll just start. Part of the experience at Cisco, I was on a trajectory to become a director. I was managing small business marketing. We were a group they shipped out to a whole different site. It was crazy. And at the time, one of my leaders said, okay, but you haven't fired anybody. We're not going to promote you to a director till you fire people. And we're going to give you 3 people that need to be fired and you're going to fire them.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know enough to say like, hell no, I'm not doing that. But I did it. Okay. So I am a highly sympathetic, empathetic human. I'm emotional, admittedly. And in order for me to do that, I had to compartmentalize to a degree that I didn't even know was possible. And so I did that. I was a robot in firing them. I didn't really know why we were firing them, but I used the lines they gave me and I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fast forward 15 years, about 10 to 15. And I was at a school function for one of my children, and I saw somebody that I worked with at Cisco. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's John. I need to go say hello to him. And I went and said hello to him. I said, gosh, John, I haven't seen you in so long. How are you? And he said, yeah, you haven't seen me since the day you fired me. And I had forgotten that I did that.
Oh, wow.
And I went home and was sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, I decided I'm going to cry in meetings if I want. I'm going to do things that are true to my heart. People are going to know me, and I am not going to do this compartmentalizing thing again. I can't. I'm not doing that. It's just not okay. So that was a huge learning for me, and I think positively impact people that I worked with going forward. And I'm sorry for the people behind, that were behind that moment, because I wasn't the best version of me, for sure. Because I was more focused on getting ahead and getting the next title than being me. And that was a fuck up for sure. Sorry.
Oh,
That was a bad thing. And obviously I remember it so clearly that wasn't okay. That's the first one.
Wow.
D, dare I say this is one of the best ones we've ever had.
This is without question. Yeah.
Yeah. This is of 200. This is about easily in the top 5.
This top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 F-ups.
Yeah, this is top 5. Well, it's the learning, the insight coming from it.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Coming from it. All right. So Krista, your ability at that point to compartmentalize, world class. Your brain did such a great job that you did not remember what you did. You literally had no clue.
That's why Krista described it that way, D, right?
Yes. Where did you learn that ability to compartmentalize?
After all the work I've done personally, I'm sure that it was something childhood. And that's a whole nother show. Definitely. Probably moderated by a therapist, right? I'm sure that it was a childhood situation that incubated that. Actually, the harder part, I think, is to be yourself and to allow whatever emotion is happening for you in that moment to happen.
Yeah.
As a professional, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. I think that women are often told, or not so much now, but certainly in the beginning of my career, emotion, there's no place for that at work. And now that it's bring your whole self to work and all of that, I'm actually really happy to see that shift. And it kind of maybe that experience happened a little before some of that. It's just such a hard thing, to allow yourself to be you. And to compartmentalize. I think they're both difficult.
Yeah.
I often say that a brand, like a personal brand, is you on your best day. It should be authentic and slightly aspirational. And so me on my best day was not that person.
Got it.
And who I want to be as a human and to have a brand that reflects that, I have to behave that way.
Got it. Whoa.
That's awesome.
Whoa. All right, Larry, if you don't have a comment to that one, let's hear a second one, but do you have a comment?
I have a quick, D, I'm going to put you on the spot here because I think it's really relevant. And you've told this, but it was in one of our podcasts before, but it was a while ago, and I think it should be resurfaced because of being your authentic self. Can you tell Krista and the brand nerds also when you first got to Coca-Cola and you were struggling and you had an epiphany of what you needed to do?
Thanks, Larry. I will share it. So Krista, because of what Larry said earlier, Coca-Cola being at that time the #1 brand in the world, and the most valuable brand in the world, going to Coca-Cola at that time as a marketer is the equivalent of right now in tech, people going to Apple or NVIDIA, or Cisco, or Microsoft, these behemoths that are running tech today globally. That's what Coke was to marketers, those that were established and aspiring marketers, certainly for me. So I got my MBA from a school here in Atlanta called Clark Atlanta University. So this is a historically black college and university. And I also did an undergrad at Alabama A&M, also at HBCU. Coca-Cola recruited MBAs from all over the world at the best schools, the best business schools all over the world. And they happened to also recruit at Clark Atlanta University, but we were not in any way thinking that we were going to see Clark Atlanta University rankings of MBA with Harvard, Wharton, Oxford, Fuqua, any of these, prestigious MBA schools. So what I decided, because these were my peers from these schools, Krista, is that I was going to be the best version of those MBAs. You talk about on your best day. You want to be you on your best day. I thought for me on my best day was to be a version of those MBAs. And I failed miserably. I was scratching myself. I had holes in the knees of my fine Italian suits because I was rubbing my knees because I didn't realize this. Much like you didn't realize it. I didn't realize it at the time. And because it was going so horrifically bad, I decided one day, this is the epiphany that Larry said, I said, I've gone to 2 HBCUs and I grew up in the inner city of Detroit. I've survived things that most humans cannot survive. I'm going to be me. I know some things that the rest of these MBAs from these wonderful universities do not know. I'm going to be true to that, and then we'll see where it goes. And it changed my career and changed my life.
I love that.
Yep.
Such a great story.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Second youngest Brand Week Marketer of the Year to August Bush IV. So he really doesn't count. So that's where DC's shift brought Sprite to go. Phew. He won't say that. I will. Okay.
Sorry.
So Krista had another one.
She does. Yes.
And this is more of a cautionary tale, maybe. I left Cisco as a director I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. It turned out I was pregnant with my third child. So that was crazy. I left. I consulted for a while, and they wanted me to come back full time for my second tour of duty. And they hired me as an individual contributor. And I took it. And then I climbed that same ladder again. Now, for the years that I was climbing, they got the value of a director of marketing.
Right.
And paid me as an individual contributor.
Right.
That is on me.
Yeah.
Because, I don't typically hire this way I'm not looking for a bargain when I'm hiring people. I'm not. So
we feel the same way.
I didn't learn that till later, right? So I was like, oh, well, yeah, now I'm a mom and, I guess this is all I can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I feel like was a pretty major personal F up.
Another good one, Larry.
Yeah. A good one. There's nothing to add to that, but that's something, brand nerds, that you need to tuck in the front of your mind on that one.
Yeah. Brand nerds, as you know, Krista, you don't know this. I'm a girl dad. I have 3 daughters, and I'm also now a girl granddad. So there are the 4 ladies in my life, and I say to my daughters sometime, and I will say this to my granddaughter as well, Stevie Sky, that if men had to bear the pain and responsibility of having children, there would not be a population. And the second thing I say to them is that if men had to bear children and leave the workforce for a period of time, when they came back, not only would they have their same job at the same level, they might even be promoted on the way back in.
I agree.
So I respect this. What's popping? I mean, not what's popping. This question about biggest F up. That's brand nerds, particularly those of you who are going to be taking time off to take care of children. Remember Krista's words. Yeah. Remember,
We
remember
also
Krista's
are
words.
forced to like explain why we were out, right?
Right.
We have to, you have to account for the gap in your resume.
Yes.
And I don't know if I still have it on LinkedIn. I might. There was that time. So I think the only amount of time that I didn't work was maybe 5 years, I think, because
Mm-hmm.
3 under 5 is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 dogs. I wrote on my resume how managing a team of children is
Yeah.
the same as managing a group
Oh,
of people.
that's
Yes.
good.
I wrote about short-term and long-term objectives, whether they were,
Mm-hmm.
nutrition or health. I wrote about, managing their own goals and those things. And I think it might actually still be on my LinkedIn because
Oh, wow.
every interview I had after that, somebody asked me about it. What a great way to cover the gap.
Yeah.
And it was my way of saying I didn't stop working.
Right.
It
Yeah.
And
just
you were authentic to yourself, going back to your, right?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. It My children know me as a working mom.
Right.
Now, did I
Mm-hmm.
have time? Certain times in my life, I had trouble with balance or
Of course.
stopping what I consider the addiction to the energy of an amazing team that you're working with in a
Mm-hmm.
corporation. Like there is an energy there that is not replaceable. And you guys have
Mm-hmm.
both
Mm-hmm.
experienced it, I'm sure. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I had a hard time with that and I really needed to check myself. But overall, they had a mom that picked them up from school and still was a thriving member of the working community.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's great
Mm-hmm.
stuff. D, you ready to go to the next question?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Krista, as we talked about earlier with you, this is the Bytes part of the equation, and you've lived the
Mm.
Bytes part. Really, you didn't even know growing up in the Bay Area, right? But so, regarding technology and marketing, you have seen a lot. Can you tell us where you think marketers should lean in or best leverage tech? Or you can go to an area or areas that they should be leery or simply avoid. What say you?
Mm. Well, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about AI because I think for me, growing up in infrastructure, right? I grew up with
Yes.
networking companies, and that infrastructure made the internet possible. I
Yes.
know that for generations of people right now, they don't remember a time where there wasn't the internet. We didn't have cell phones, all those things. I hate to date myself.
That hardware, I just want
It's
to,
hardware. Yeah, yeah.
it's the
Sorry.
hardware that
Yes.
was the literal foundation, brand nerds, to the whole highway of the internet
Mm-hmm.
and then AI and now AI and beyond. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you're taking us back to that foundation.
Yeah.
I think AI is like the internet second coming, basically. And
Mm-hmm.
it is, for me, interesting to watch how these infrastructure companies respond. And I think all that you can do with AI is fantastic, and
Mm-hmm.
in most cases, and where it's not where people don't use it for good are issues, and we're tracking those and all of that. Um, how the infrastructure behind it is built is going to cause a lot of problems. And we
Mm-hmm.
read about some of that from an ecological uh, perspective. And I think we as marketers need to be asking a lot more questions on that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not just what is the coolest thing I can do with it, but
Yeah.
what is the backside of that and what is it causing?
Oof.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, Krista, you just tripped something in me. Were you complete? But you just were you complete in your thought?
Yeah, I do. I think that especially, well, and marketing might even be, I use that as a broad term.
Right.
I think communications people, part of what makes us great is asking great questions.
Right.
And we need to ask a
Mm-hmm.
lot more questions about what
Yes.
the infrastructure is going to look like, and not just the companies that are making money off of it or whatever. We have to ask more questions about how it's made possible.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Krista, DC, again, because we're of similar ages, so I'm gonna dare I go here, but I think what you just said so really eloquently is that here in the 21st century, there's brand nerds, you may or may not know this, there's these huge data centers that are taking up huge amounts of water and power, and that's what Chris is referring to. And if you think back to the 20th century and mid to late century of what was past the Industrial Revolution, but is the industrial boom, and there's all these factories and energy that didn't account for clean water or clean air. It was just in the name of progress. And then all of a sudden we're waking up and the Lake Erie around Cleveland's on fire. Literally, you can go Google that, look it up, right? Like there was all these ecological disasters emanating from that. And so what I hadn't even thought of it in those terms, what you're saying to us is, hey, as marketing people, as PR people, we should be also thinking about what all of this I'm going to say, the networking, the infrastructure was the word I was looking for. What's that doing right now? And we should be questioning it and asking about it, right?
Yeah, I think, and asking about it now. I mean, instead of looking backwards when things are not great and, trying to catch up with whether it's regulations or catch up with technologies that can help offset some of this. I think that's also an interesting question, right? Like, okay, for every problem, there is a solution. And so there, or at least a way to maybe tamper the impact. So temper, I don't know, temper, I think. I want to ask those questions sooner rather than later. And I think as PR people and comms people and marketing people, we have a responsibility to ask.
Love it.
I completely agree, Krista. And there's an irony here, a sweet irony, is the industry of AI predicated on asking questions.
Right.
Some are afraid of those of us who do not work at those companies asking questions. There's an irony here.
Yeah, there is. True. That's true.
All right,
great Larry, stuff. Can you move to the next question, D?
Sure can. Krista, you can take this question anywhere you want to take it. What are you most proud of?
I think the easiest answer would be my children. They're grown-ups and they're really cool. And they're completely off the payroll. Also,
what an achievement!
That is,
yeah, what an achievement! Yeah.
So I have to shout out our son Jake. It's his first day of work today. Hopefully, on his path to
nephew. Shout out, Jake.
Oh, good. Yeah, yes. I have a Jacob too. Yeah, I have a Jacob too, so I get it. I think that's the easy answer, but I think there's something broader that transcends that. That and maybe my career, whatever. I am most proud of the relationships I have. I work hard at being a better person every day. I deeply love my family, my friends, and the relationships that we've built. Doesn't mean I haven't made mistakes in relationships. Absolutely. I, don't always say whatever the right thing. I'm learning still. It's the first time I'm this age in this place. I'm brand new to this. So I'm learning too. But I am proud of how I've built. People say, oh, you have such a great network. Doesn't mean how many people you're connected to on LinkedIn, or how many friends you have on Facebook, or followers you have on Instagram. It's the deep relationships that I have that I'm proud of with my children, with my siblings, which ironically, we all worked in the same marketing department at Cisco for a time.
No way.
Yeah. And we really like each other.
Give a shout out to them, please.
Yeah. Anthony Passarelli is still working at our agency now and is working on the Cisco business. And I love that. He's amazing and trust him. One of my nieces works at Positioning Collective as well and keeps me straight. Gina is retired, my sister. So we had a great time in those years working together. We are of solidarity in managing aging parents. And so all of the relationships, my children, my siblings, my friends, we have a 18-year breakfast date on Fridays that we have gone and met. And that is, we call it my council, the directors, board of directors of For My Life. And I've mentioned a lot of this, the Cisco relationships, Patty's, I'm really proud of that I have built a rich life with amazing relationships. I'm still working on it. Yeah.
I love this, D. I don't know much to add, but other than the fact that it says a lot about you, the human, because that without the people, good people around us, who are we?
Exactly.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Nope, it's a mic drop.
Yeah.
All right, great stuff, Krista. Oh man, this is awesome. This is what happens with our wonderful guests like you. The shows go fast, so we're into the next segment. And what's popping? What's popping, D? What's popping, Krista?
What's popping?
So, Krista, this is our chance to shout out, shout down, or simply ask something happening in around marketing today that we think is good fodder for discussion. And oh, this one's really good. This one's really good, brand nerds, because we think it's playing out in real time right now in an industry every single one of us interacts with pretty much all the time, and that's burgers. Here's the headline. Burger King just passed Wendy's to reclaim the number 2 spot among U.S. burger chains for the first time in 6 years. Their domestic same-store sales were up 8.5% last quarter. And that's in a tough economy. That's an incredible number. In that same quarter, Wendy's same-store sales were down 7%. So they're almost trading out, but Burger King's got them a little bit beat, which is there. And for Wendy's, this is their 6th straight quarter of decline. Same category, same quarter, completely opposite trajectories. So what's actually going on? Burger King has been in the middle of a multi-year turnaround, remodeling restaurants, reinvesting in the brand, and most notably retiring their King mascot earlier this year in favor of a new platform that puts the customer at the center of the brand. They backed it with real money, including franchisees agreeing to increase their own contribution to the marketing fund to help fund it. It went from 4% to 4.5%, by the way. Wendy's, meanwhile, has been dealing with instability at the top. They've had 3 different CEOs in under 3 years, while their marketing has continued to lean on the same product claim they've used for decades, fresh, never frozen beef, going back to the old school commercial, where's the beef? So that's the setup for Krista in DC. Krista, would love to throw it to you first. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think this is a really classic example of a brand returning to its position. And the positioning for Burger King has been flame broiled, have it your way. And they have returned there for this step. And we see brands even flagging that they're going to do it. Starbucks, for instance, in November of 2025 came out and said, we are going back to our 3rd place position. That's our roots. We're going back there. We're going to market that, which was, I don't remember where I read it, but it's an interesting return. And I like that for Burger King. I think it's a good call. Clearly, it's sussed out in the numbers. So that to me is what's happening. They're returning to clear positioning.
Right.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Krista,
D, what are you thinking?
When Larry and I talked about this as a subject, we became giddy. And to have you, again, brand nerds, taking you behind the curtain here, to have you tell us in an email last evening that you and your family and have been talking about this, we thought, okay, we're definitely going with this subject. Larry and Krista, since you went back, Krista, to they've returned to their positioning, I want to go back a little bit myself. First nugget is the king, or as they would say it here in Atlanta, or if you are a T.I. fan, you would say the Kang, has been fired twice, not once, twice. In 2011, the king was fired the first time. I won't name the agency because I don't want to say anything that's out of school about them. But they launched a campaign around the burger, and people said, this is a creepy king. In fact, the then CFO, who's now the president of Burger King, said they got rid of the king because it scared away women and children. Not what you want at a burger chain. This is good. Then they brought the king back in 2015. And they brought the king back by having the king be in the entourage of Floyd Mayweather as Floyd Mayweather was doing his walk to the ring to fight Manny Pacquiao. I'm not making this up. And they paid Mayweather reportedly around $1 million. This was in 2015. So let's just think about this, boys and girls.
Yeah.
The king gets fired because the king's creepy and scaring women and children. And how do you bring them back? You bring him back in boxing, a brutal blood sport, and you put him with Floyd Mayweather. Okay, all right, who had been allegedly accused of some things involving women. This is what you do when you bring the king back. No, not good. Not good. So now the second firing came in March of this year, March 15th. They fire the king because, as you said, Krista, they're saying the king's not the king anymore. You are the king, as in the customer, which is have it your way. You get it your way, so you're the king. All right. The CMO then says this. Many people, this is like on it. Many people found the king to be creepy, so we're firing the king.
This is the second firing, just to be clear.
Yeah, second firing. Second firing, yeah. So this is second firing. Thank you, Larry. Right. So here's my takeaway from all of this. I love how they've gone back to the roots of their positioning, Krista. I really do. However, I also believe they've made an error. And here's the error I think they've made, Krista, Larry, and Brand Nerds. They could have gone back to their roots with saying that the customer is in fact the king.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this king has 40, 50 years of equity.
Mm-hmm.
Why fire the king? I think they should have demoted the king and had the king bow down to the customer. Yeah. Use this icon that they've had for decades and say, King, you're now serving, your crown is gone. You're serving the customer now. They've got the real crown. I believe that would have been stronger than what they did, but I can't argue with the results. So that's my takeaway.
It's an interesting thing that they would fire the king and bring him back in the same look and feel. Let's just say
right. Yes.
Like, okay, Bond, 007.
Yes.
How many different actors have we had?
A lot. Yeah.
So can't we have a less creepy king?
Right.
I would think.
I
would think.
And I think it's your to your point is there's a lot of brand equity in the king. Like, let's evolve him.
Yes.
To be less creepy,
right?
More servant led, right? Like,
yes.
I'm gonna serve my client. I'm gonna serve the customer. I think it's an interesting choice to just throw it out.
I do too. I mean, can the king not be Matthew McConaughey? Right. Who doesn't like Matthew McConaughey?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Larry, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I love this conversation. This is great. And it's funny where you went, DC. Like, you can't argue with the results.
Yep.
Chris, I'm going to use some of our parlance. We have a special IP for brand positioning, which we start with. We call it something different because it is different, called a brand creation statement. Mm-hmm. And it's all predicated off what we call the brand promise. So D, I'm reading their brand promises to be, and this is the throughput. It's, hey, the customer's first. You have it your way, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
they lost they lost that story with all the BS that they did for a while. So they're now bringing the brand promise back.
Yep.
So that's been really, I think, at the heart of their success.
Yep.
Because they're elevating that and they're doing that. But dare I say, it's funny. And by the way, Krista, DC and I we have no idea what one another's going to say when it comes to this. So it's interesting with DC. Where I would go to is, while Burger King's done great, I think they've got a lot more room to grow, because I look at this, both Krista and DC, and I go, okay, I really like the elevation of the brand promise, but who is the consumer? Who is really the brand lover? I'm not seeing it. I think they're still trying to be an all things for all people thing. And while it's working now, I don't, at some point, they're going to have to come forward with that, because DC alluded to, if you knew your brand lover, right, going back to the second iteration of the King, the last thing you would do.
You're not doing Mayweather.
It would just be involved with Mayweather.
Yeah.
Right? So there's huge room to go. I just want to go quick comment on Wendy's before we end. Wendy's, to me, has a low ceiling. They talk about that a lot, right? With Krista, a lot of athletes. Like, this guy's got a really good, a high floor, but a low ceiling, which means that athlete can be somebody who's really good, but not great. And I will say, Wendy's, if they continue to always do product, always be product, their ceiling is low. They've got to figure out what's the emotional connection, what's the brand positioning that's going to elevate that, and really say who is truly the brand lover for Wendy's, and what's the emotional connection between what's their brand promise, and how do they emotionally connect with them? Because as long as they stay low on the ladder of just being products and features, their ceiling's going to be low. So that's my view of that. They need all of our helps, right, Krista and DC? They do.
Yes.
Well said, Larry. Krista, any response to what Larry just said? And I do have a response.
I do think the audience is again an interesting topic, because if you look at some of the campaigns, or at least one of them that Burger King came through with, it's targeted at boomers. Okay. Now, why are you targeting boomers when the spend is not happening in that generation for you? So I think that's an interesting thing to consider. The other thing is, trying to do too many things. I mean, I know you must have some nomenclature around the single idea that you want to hold in a customer.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think that either one of them are being super clear there.
They're not.
About the idea they want to own with their brand lover, who is not clear. So there's a whole lot of pieces that need to be nailed down, I think, with this situation, more than one, for sure.
Larry, I agree with what you said and what Krista said originally, and what she just did as a follow-up. I want to go back to your comment about Wendy's and the low headroom by focusing exclusively on product. This is what happens to brands and companies when they get into trouble.
Yep. And dare I say, tech companies do this a lot, Krista.
All companies do this.
Yeah.
All companies do this. They fall in love with their product.
Yep.
And did you say Wendy's has had 3 different CEOs in the last 3 years?
Less than 3 years. Yep.
Less than 3 years. Okay. So less than 3 years. Okay. So let's think about this. I'll take you all back to 2019. Popeyes had a chicken sandwich that just took the industry by storm.
Yep.
Popeyes, this is 2019. So that was a product thing. That was not a brand thing. That was a product thing. A little known move is November, December last year, a woman named Amy Alarcon, Alarcon. She was the woman that was the head chef for Popeyes when they came up with that 2019 sandwich, chicken sandwich. She was moved to be the head chef at Burger King at the end of last year. So whatever product issues Burger King may have had with the Whopper, That's a sub brand. Their signature sandwich. She worked that out. So once she worked out the product gap versus Wendy's, it's over, Wendy's, because that's all you talk about. So now they got the chef that did the 2019 Popeye sandwich. Right. What do you think she's going to do with the Whopper? What do you think she's going to do? So just another thing about don't fall too much in love with the product. That's right. That can be taken away from you very quickly competitively.
Well, and it narrows your brand.
Yes.
Right. And so it really limits whatever innovation you're going to have into adjacent spaces.
Truthfully. And it's not long-term ownable.
Agree.
Ooh, what a great conversation.
Great conversation with another positioning expert.
Yes. Oh, we love this. Love it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Krista, man, this has been so much fun. We're at the end of this, and this is where we posit our learnings. Man, D, I have a lot of learnings. I'm gonna rip them off real quick. Okay. I've got 8. Number 1, the foundational one that Krista said early on. PR teaches you to know your audience and be tight and super clear in your message so it gets communicated successfully. Brand nerds, that is the essence of what great brand positioning is too. That's number 1. Number 2, find friends and colleagues like Patty Curtis who shoot it to you straight. Number 3, be you. Don't let ambition get in the way of this. And that's Krista's biggest F-up story, which is just a very difficult thing for her to go through. You learn from it so you don't do the same thing. Number 4, you on your best day is authentic and slightly aspirational, and the best brands are that way. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Number 5, Krista's second biggest F-up. I'm going to use 3 words to spell out the learnings. You got to know your value at all times, brand nerds. Know your value. Number 6, managing a family is the same as managing a business team. So whether moms and there's some dads, when you're floating in and out of managing a family, think of it along those lines. Number 7, collectively, we should really know about the impact of AI in the environment, question it, and do something about it. And number 8, cultivate and grow relationships with family and friends at all times. Those are my 8. Those are awesome, Krista.
Outstanding, Larry. All coming from Krista, our conversation with Krista. It's at this part of the program that I attempt to do something, and I frankly, Krista, never know how it's going to work out. I go into these podcasts listening, learning, my mind is expanding, growing, but I don't know how the dots are going to connect for me.
But they always do.
They somehow fall into place, but I don't know when or how. And I say that, Krista, thank you, Larry. I say that, Krista, because the attempt that I make is to describe to the brand nerds and to our guest what I believe this person is bringing to the planet that no one else can bring the way they bring it. So other people might be close, have variations of it, but if we don't get this gift from Krista, we're not going to get it from anyone else. And it's a valiant attempt that I make, and I'm going to share with you now some thoughts. So in my takeaways, in our 5 questions segment, when we asked you about your first branding experience, you talked about the VW and how you had a Rabbit, and then you graduated to a Jetta, and now you want to get to that 15-window VW bus. And then you also said, now you kind of do Audis. And VW as a company bought Audi. So they're all in the same group. And then you finished it off by saying, it's kind of cool that I'm able to move up as life and income moves. And I'm sitting here thinking, that's interesting that VW bought Audi and she drives VWs and Audis. We know the Wrangler notwithstanding. And that's now a group of German cars. So I'm listening here and we go down to Cisco. And to the question of who has or is having the most influence in your career? And you said it's a group of people, not one. We've done hundreds of these shows. We normally get one, sometimes two. We don't get a group of people. You mentioned this group of people and you name them. And you say, hey, listen, we're not all necessarily, working together today, but these 4, 5, 6 people had a defining impact on your career, one of whom works with you now. And I'm like, that's interesting that at Cisco, at a time where it was going through this extraordinary growth early years, that you had this group of people that influence you. So I'm like, okay, group, VW, Audi, group of friends. So then we go down here to you having your children and how you stepped away from Cisco. And you said, I found a way to position, if you will, my time away. And you said, managing a team of people is like managing a group of children. I'm like, this is just this group thing again, one more time. And then it kind of went left for me when you gave the example of how you wanted to become a director, and to become a director, they said to you, hey, Krista, you've never fired anyone before. You don't really have what it takes to be a director, because to be a director, you've got to be cold-blooded. Okay, you got to fire these people. So I'm just going to give you 3 people. Trust me, Krista, trust us. They need to be fired. No need to ask us any questions. Just fire these people. And what does the great Krista do? She says, yes, I'm going to fire these people. And you said that you had to compartmentalize that experience in order to fire them. And then you have the John experience. You had a school event and you look over it. Oh, this is a former Cisco employee. Hey, don't I know you? Didn't we work together at Cisco? To which John says, yes, we did. And you unceremoniously fired me. That's the one time that you did not have the group. You separated at that point. And then on the question that you're most proud of, you did not just give one thing. You said family, children, siblings, coworkers, friends, another group of people, which leads me to this. I thought at first, well, she's about integrity, but a different kind of integrity. Most people think integrity is about being honest. It's not. The Latin definition of the word integritas, T-A-S, is about wholeness, completeness, soundness, things coming together. That's what integrity means. And that's what I believe you are, Krista. And to sum it up, I would say, I believe you are a beacon of integrity in business and life, ... for those who pay attention.
Thank you.
You're
welcome.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great, D. I love that.
You're welcome.
Krista, any parting thoughts before we sign off on about this wonderful show that you've had with us?
Yeah, has been wonderful. What a great way to spend my morning with the two of you. I love it. I love all that I have learned in this conversation for sure, and happy to see other people approaching problems with positioning the way that we do. I love it. Really cool.
Can I just say this really quickly, Larry, before we do the show close? Sure. First is any businesses out there in tech and beyond, you need work around positioning, get to Krista and the Positioning Collective. We'd also like to do the work, but hey, I'm big up in Krista and the Positioning Collective right now. This is a different kind of a mind, brand nerds, different kind of a mind, which equals a different kind of organization. And second, Krista, can you tell us the firm that helped us connect?
Oh gosh, I can.
Okay.
Pod Pitch.
Okay. And yes. Who's your specific rep's name?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know. That's all right. Okay.
I don't know.
So we want to say Pod Pitch, thank you for bringing us Krista. Okay, yes. Larry. Show close.
Yes. This has been really, truly awesome. Thanks so much for listening, brand nerds. And the executive producers of Brands, Beats, and Bytes are Jeff Shirley, Darryl DC, Cobbin, Larry Taman, Jay Tate, and Tom Dioro.
The Podfather.
That is he. And if you do like this podcast, please subscribe and share. And for those on Apple Podcasts, if you are so inclined, we love those excellent reviews. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. And we look forward to next time, where we will have more insightful and enlightening talk about marketing.